Hey guys, you're watching Andertons TV. We have a new show called All About the Bass. My name's Lee.
I'm Nathan.
And basically, the new show is going to come out once a week, and we're going to show you all stuff. We're just going to talk about the bass, basically. We're just going to keep this bass focused. Nate, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're joining us as a presenter for the first time.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am indeed. Well, I'm known as, well, some people know me as a guitar player, actually. I play the guitar with a band called Level 42.
How did you get in then? It's like, I thought we needed a bass player for this, but you're predominantly a bass player.
Yes, I am. My bass playing goes a lot further back, and I started out as a bass player, and it's what I've done most of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, I've always loved playing bass. And that's why I'm here today, to share the love.
Share the love.
With our new show, all about the bass.
I like it.
All about
that name.
So not now. It's not all about the bass. If you've tuned
in, it's a fishing show. Yeah.
It is. If you've tuned in for that, you're going to be very disappointed.
Maybe if nobody watches this, I think the next episode we'll just have a fish. We'll literally get the rods out and we'll just change it. All about the bass. I love it. So look, we've grabbed every week. We're going to grab a different bass-related product. Sometimes it's going to be a bass guitar, might be a pedal, might be an amplifier. You can comment away in the comment section below to say what products you might like us to grab, and we'll do our best to do that. But today we have the rather glorious looking this Ibanez beast with you. So
it's
what
lovely,
can you tell me about this?
Okay, this is the Ibanez SR800, and it's a lovely thing actually. It's a really nice bass. I guess it feels, on sort of first play, it feels very much based around like a jazz bass sort
jazz
of
bass neck. Yeah.
Yeah, nice and slim. The same sort of scale length, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great, and it sounds. We've just been having a little noodle with it, and it sounds great. It's got a really nice. They're passive Bartolini pickups, but it has an active Ibanez circuit in it. So you know you get lots and lots of really nice tones.
What would you? So obviously the SR range is a more contemporary kind of vibe. So perhaps a jazzy bass kind of feel on the neck, but it's much lighter, isn't it, than a jazz bass? Much more sort of compact.
Absolutely, body. Yeah, a much more compact body. Like you say, lighter than you'd expect. So yeah, it sits just really nicely. If you sat down, it sits great on the knee.
So where would you? I'm always kind of intrigued for bass players that are maybe choosing either passive over active or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run through, kind of give us the basic, what can you do with an active circuit that you can't do with a passive circuit, and why might that be sort of good in some circumstances and not in others?
Okay, well the appeal of the active circuit, I think, is just the flexibility, the amount of different tones you can get out of it, and I think that's kind of what it's all about. Mm-hmm. It gives you much more EQ flexibility. This one, for instance, has got 3-band EQ. And you can really kick up the bottom end on it, boost, or cut the bottom end as well. If you want to do that, you can cut it right out.
Because that's the thing with a passive circuit, you can only take away, can't you?
That's right.
Whereas with obviously active, it's add or take away.
Exactly, yeah, and that's where you get your flexibility, that's where you get your tonal.
So tell me about what are the 5 knobs on here doing?
Okay, so we have volume at the front. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
This one sweeps between the 2 pickups. So we have like the sort of jazz pickup in the bridge position, which is the kind of honkier sounding pickup, and then you sweep it. There's an ident in the middle of that pot there, so you know where the dead center is.
Yeah.
Which gives you both pickups, and then you sweep further forward. And basically what it's doing, it's kind of fading as you go further forward. It fades this one out and this one in.
Let's hear what that sounds like then.
Okay. So back pickup. That's both. And then the front. Woody. It's a really nice little woody sort of it's like a P bass sort of sound.
When you're playing in the band, do you? Because I'm always as a guitar player kind of conscious of the fact that my favourite my favourite tones for just noodling myself are always the sort of neck pickup sounds, and I find the bridge pickup quite harsh. But actually, in a band situation, the bridge pickup is often what you've got to go through to sort of cut. Do you find a similar thing from a bass playing perspective?
Yeah, that is certainly true. Yeah, if you want the bass to really jump out, then you are going to want to dial back, to something that's a bit honkier. It's going to cut through. And in the same way, if you really want to give it some warmth, then you're going to favour that front pickup a bit more. So
let's whiz through the other three controls on the switch. What have we got here?
Okay, so you've got the active EQ section here. So this is the bass. Again, there's a little a click in the middle of that pot, like an ident, and then you can cut the bottom end.
Who would want to do that?
Well, sometimes you just have to do it.
When you get that frown from the MD.
Exactly, yeah. Of the back of the pub, all the glasses are falling off, and the optics are rattling. Then you have to lose a bit of bottom end. Nobody likes to do it, but hey. And then you can boost it right up too. And then we've got. I'm going to zip back to this one. And this is the top end, and this works in exactly the same way. But obviously, with all your high frequencies, you can cut, boost the treble on the bass, and then the one in the middle, as you might imagine, is for the mid frequencies.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And again, you can cut and boost with the addition that we have this little three-way toggle switch here, and that has some preset frequencies that you can then cut and boost. You can select from 3 different frequencies. So
that's awesome. Why don't you just do something to show the 3 different positions of that mid boost thing, or mid cut. Do you find it works better as a mid cut or as a mid boost, or is it just all depends on?
It really depends on what the sound you're after.
Do you end up is sort of the idea with a bass circuit like this is to almost go, we'll just do it covers pretty much everything?
Yeah, that's right. And then you just tailor it to what you're doing at the time. I think the best thing to do is just don't be afraid to experiment. Just really try all these things out and see what sounds best.
So if we're going from like a sort of a scooped funk sound through to a sort of a throaty kind of rock sound, can we just do some licks that kind of show that kind of vibe?
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess classically funk then you want to sort of boost the top and bottom.
Yeah.
And maybe scoop a bit of the mid out. Let's see. Let's try that. Bit more top end.
Does that give you some different?
Yeah, this is taking away different frequencies in the mid.
Although you've lost the mid-range there, you've got this real tight, powerful bass end there. It sounds great for the. I guess if it was a, almost like where you've got a band like Level 42, which is quite a sort of a bass-driven kind of band.
Yeah.
That is that kind of funky, kind of driving kind of tone, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But if you went the other way then and sort of dialed the mid-range in and maybe found a sweet spot with that 3-way thing for more of like a, what would be like a grindy rock band kind of vibe.
Oh, grindy rock band.
Yeah, just something that you might sort of go, let's just pick up my dirty old P bass and just kind of just grind it out a bit. Has it got that kind of vibe in there?
The grindy sound, okay, so...
I should at this moment say we're really not playing with the tones on the amplifier, and of course you get a lot of those kind of grindy tones from an amp. We've got a Mark bass combo here, little 2x10 combo with everything just dialed into number 12 to stay as flat as possible. So of course you might grind up the amplifier as much as the bass, but let's see, what have we got here?
Okay, so what are we after, Lee, then? You want some...
I just think dial the mid-range in and imagine you're in like a Foo Fighters kind of thing and you just want to get some, That's cool. I can imagine that. I'm sort of in my head, I'm thinking little distortion pedal or pick would help, I think.
A pick maybe, that might help. Yeah. That's quite nice.
No, I like it. I mean, it's probably not the amp you'd buy to be in a heavy rock band, but no, I like it. So, in terms of other stuff,
Yeah.
I noticed it's got this fat kind of big bridge, and I remember back in the day when was it the Badass bass bridge that was the first one that
yeah.
kind of came out, and people would take their Fender basses, which traditionally had a pretty skinny kind of bridge, didn't it, with not a lot of sort of metal in it, and a lot of people would change them over for the Badass one to kind of
Sort of solid brass. That
yeah.
Sort of thing.
What's the kind of, because this is an Ibanez own design. They call this the Accu Bass 300, I think, or Accu Cast B300.
That's the one.
But the saddles are huge. There's like, but what's what do you think?
They
that's
are. Well,
adding?
well, that's good, man. Solid is good. I think that's it. That's what we really want. We really want to get some string on wood action, and that's what the bridge is doing. That's your meeting point between the two. So yeah.
No, it looks cool. It kind of looks like the sort of bass that's you could take on the road and rely on.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And also, if you're gigging with it, it's so nice. It's lovely and light,
Yeah.
and really comfy.
I noticed as well on the spec that a lot of these kind of modern basses are going for these sort of 5-piece neck designs. When you're touring, obviously, presumably the stability of the neck every time you get the thing out the case is unbelievably critical, isn't it? Just
Of course, absolutely, yeah. And also during the gig too.
Yeah.
With sort of temperature changes and things like that. Yeah, you really do need stability.
I think that's what that 5-piece design kind of, I mean, I know a lot of classic basses, P bass and jazz bass will just be a maple neck, but lots of people have tried different, whether it's Status with the graphite necks or Ibanez, and not just Ibanez, but many brands who will do these kind of glued together kind of designs. But it's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not about trying to, saving money by using offcuts of wood. It's very much about the idea that using different types of wood glued together will just give it that more stability.
Absolutely.
So, what else can we tell people about this guitar, this bass guitar? It's a poplar body, which is a nice lightweight.
That's
wood.
right. Yeah, that's here.
And also, as well, by the looks of things, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a 5-piece body, much like the neck, but probably more for cosmetic reasons, I would suggest now. It's got this sort of pretty, we'll show you some close-ups of these. And then to make the actual bass look super pretty, it has a burled mahogany veneer on the top of it, which kind of means that no two will ever look identical. They'll always have that slightly unique vibe to it. And this colour is called Black Ice. Black Ice. And there's a brownier colour called Aged Whiskey Burst, which
I like the sound of that
on the screen right now. And you can get it as a 4-string or a 5-string. You're a 5-string man, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I do play 5-string primarily. Yeah.
What's the just to give you the extended range of notes, or do you prefer the feel of it, or what's the?
It's for the extended range of notes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just to get the again, it's all about options. With a lot of modern music, it's just nice to be able to hit some lower notes.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that this thing comes in either a 4 or a 5-string option, and phenomenally well priced as well, in my opinion. So SR series is the bass range that Ibanez have been making for about 25 years. They've always been a really popular bass guitar. Popular, I think, with the sort of contemporary guys, because visually, I think if you turn up to a gig with a jazz bass or a P bass, you're sort of probably pigeonholed as a traditional. Is that fair?
Well, I think people probably have ideas in their head. As soon as they see those sort of basses, they've already got ideas about what's going to come out.
So I think the more contemporary players will lean towards something that looks a little different.
Yeah.
You mentioned yourself about the weight during a gig being much. You could stand for 3 hours with that around your neck and not feel paralysed by the end of it.
Absolutely, yeah, that's important. Yeah, if you are gigging.
Yeah. And so the SR800, which is what this is one of the sort of the higher end SR series basses. So you can get this sort of shape of bass right down to about 150 pounds in the Ibanez range, but the SR800 is either about 600 pounds for a 4-string or about 650 for a 5-string.
Okay.
So really kind of sensible money for, you know, a guy what would like a second, you know, like your second purchase, or, you know, a guy who's like a semi-pro kind of, you know, taking it reasonably seriously.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think we've missed anything. Do you want to sum up your sort of, you know, I think that, you know, people really want to kind of just an honest, you know, what styles of music would you play this for? Where do you think, you know, is there anything sort of negative about it that you don't really like? Or, you know, just, you know, and you've played a lot of basses in your time, so, you know, where would you
Well,
put this?
I think it's a great bass. If you're a gigging bass player, I can see it being really useful because, like with the you know, the 3-band active EQ, that's going to give you lots of options tonally. Playing wise, I think it feels lovely. You know, it's a lovely neck.
You're a skinny neck fan?
Well, I am. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And this, like I say, it's got that real kind of jazz bass feel. It's kind of almost like what would you call this finish on the neck?
I think we call it like an open pore, so you can feel the the grain in the wood.
Yeah, I like that. You know, it's really nice and smooth. It's not because it's not lacquered or anything like that. You know, it's not sticky.
Yeah,
it's got a real, you know, it's real, just nice feel on there. Yeah, you've got the jazz pickup and the you know, the front pickup, the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. Then let's say, and that gives you lots of options too tonally. And I think if you were recording, it's again equally importantly you've got lots of tonal options. So yeah, it's a really nice bass.
No, I think on the Ibanez SR series, I do. I think it's obviously the look of it will be completely subjective, and to a certain extent the feel will be subjective. But I think it's absolutely in the camp of most people will like the feel of this bass, and tonally it's one of those kind of does pretty much everything. I often wonder, on a circuit where you can't turn the active circuit off, do you ever sort of feel like what you haven't got is just that really old school, you know, vibe? You know, is there always a certain polish to the tone or whatever that you kind of almost don't want? Or am I?
Well, I know what you mean. I guess so, and that's why, you know, if you really were going to be specific about a certain sound that you wanted, then yeah, you know, if you want a jazz bass sound, then
it's buy a jazz bass.
Get a jazz bass. You know, absolutely right. Yeah, but you know, if you want something that's going to be flexible, then you know, I would personally, you know, I would go for something like this, just because of the additional options.
Cool. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our very first episode of All About the Bass. Hopefully we'll be doing some more with Nathan soon. As I said, put in the comment section below the kind of products that you'd like us to review, and we will do our best. I think what we're going to try and do as a special treat, or perhaps it's not a treat, I don't know, for you at the end of every single All About the Bass video, is we're just going to have a little jam. Sometimes it'll be with me, sometimes it'll be with Danish Pete, but it will hopefully always be with Nathan. And that's it. So thanks very much for watching. I've been Lee.
I'm Nathan.
And we'll hopefully see you next time.